All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Also want to give double honors unto the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings and salutations unto the elect of Yahshua, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as unto the hopeful elect, the Akim out there enduring this truth across the four corners of the earth, teaching and prophesying through the spirit of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations, but are of the nation of Israel and their father's side by blood. And getting into a quick lesson, dealing with Walmart locking up their meat, putting wire cages around it due to theft. And this is dated last week. As you can see, July 8th, it says supermarket takes drastic action to prevent meat theft. Welcome to California. All right. So it says first it was spray paint, then eye drops, and now even ground beef is under lock and key. A San Jose Walmart has reportedly taken anti-theft measures to a new level, placing pricey cuts of beef and even packages of ground meat inside metal security cages to keep would-be shoplifters at bay. Influencer Tony Bartleson, better known online as Meat Dad, posted a video from inside the California store showing ribeye steaks and ground beef wrapped in wire security devices. All right, there's a picture from there. You ain't going, you ain't going to know. They treating the beef like alcohol. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pretty much call somebody over there to come and help you, unlock it for you so you can take it with you. All right. Salakia. It says holding up a cowboy ribeye priced at nearly $16 a pound. Bartleson quit. Welcome to California. The video has showed a 3-pound package of ground beef locked inside its own metal cage. The clip has racked up more than 3.8 million views. Bartleson said he was stunned by the response. Yeah, look at that. So you go and get that. I'm not understanding why all of it is not. Maybe this was the one that was being stolen the most. I'm not sure. But it says seeing basic food items locked behind cages is sad, Bartleson said in a statement to The Sun. My hope is that we can get to the point where measures like this aren't necessary anymore, where people don't have to steal just to eat. Stores don't have to lock up food, and everyone has reliable access to the necessities they need. Yeah, because like they said, it was spray paint, then eye drops, now meat, and it could potentially just end up being. Now I don't really see them locking up every single thing, but I do see them not just California alone, but eventually rationing out food at a point in time. You can kind of go into the history. I was doing it a little bit during World War II. Certain necessities and items were being rationed, and it pretty much lasted from 1942 to roughly like 1946. There was a meat shortage, meat crisis going on for the most part, because they wanted more meat for the soldiers. So they had farmers and butchers pretty much selling their beef for a lower price, so they could pretty much feed the soldiers as well as the allies. And we all know how America is about their meat. You know, most meals don't. I'm pretty sure most meals don't go without people eating meat. Now you've gotten to the point where people have created, have attached to certain diets, whether it's being pescatarian or vegetarian or vegan, where they don't include meat within their diet. All right, plant-based, and that's due to the fact of health conditions, health situations, uh, pretty much shit, fake meat, lab grown meat, All right, the meat is not healthy. The animals are not properly taken care of. For the meat to be somewhat healthy, so we gotta pretty much get the best of the worst. I know the elder brother here. He's been going more into healthier meats with animals that move around more. All right, opposed to just animals that's domesticated in a sense. Just sitting there. Uh, as well as fish. Salmon moves pretty much like he said. Salmon can swim upstream, so it pretty much there. It's a healthier. Well, even with us as humans. All right, if you just sitting there on your ass, you're gonna gain weight. Your joints gonna start locking up. All right, you're gonna be stiff. It's gonna be hard to walk, and when you do go to exert at a certain amount of energy, you're gonna pay for it for a couple days. All right, but a person that's constantly walking, exercising, and things of that nature, they're gonna feel a lot better on a daily. All right, moving their body and getting their blood flowing and lymphatic systems going, and not sitting down just fucking Netflix binging. All right, let me check something real quick. It says meat became a daily staple very early in American history, with colonists consuming large amounts of meat by the time of the American Revolution. Unlike in Europe, where livestock was heavily regulated and reserved for the wealthy, abundant grazing land in America allowed ordinary people to eat meat daily. I don't know why I just keep doing this, man. I gotta refresh it to. Yeah, I don't know. Earlier, it was allowing it to refresh and then to show the rest. Let's see. There we go. It says early American diet, 17 to 1800s. By the American Revolution, historic data shows citizens consume roughly 150 to 200 pounds of meat per person annually. Immigrant accounts. In the 1840s, Irish immigrants wrote letters home expressing shock that they were able to eat meat every single day. Pork dominance. Pork was the primary staple early on because pigs were cheap to raise, easy to let forage in forests, and simple to preserve with salt. And we all know people like cheap. That's why if you choose to eat healthier nowadays, it's gonna cost a pretty penny, but it's worth it. You know, it's worth it. It says late 19th century railroads, centralized stockyards like in Chicago, and refrigerated rail cars transformed beef into a cheap mass market national commodity. Returning soldiers popularized quick service beef and hamburgers, cementing processed and fast food meat as a permanent pillar of modern American culture. So there you have it. As you see, it was early on created that habit. Let me see something. How was the American diet pre-American Revolution? The American diet before the American Revolution was highly localized, seasonal, and exceptionally heavy in meat, corn, and alcohol. While European peasants faced frequent food shortages and heavy restrictions, pre-revolutionary colonists enjoyed a remarkable abundance of land and resources, making them some of the best nourished people in the world. That just reminded me of something. What was written in Daniel's, you know. And I'm not here advocating to be vegan, be vegetarian, or anything. Just overindulging on meats. All right, and now you have it to where Gil Bates was saying, "Oh, the cow farts are causing CO2 emissions and it's danger to the environment, so on and so forth." So they got lab grown meat. Now more people are switching, or were, going years back, of course, switching to healthier diet. Well, diets with less meat or no meat. Now you have it to where they have this new parasite uh, found in lettuce. Recently just found this parsley out in North Carolina. All right, it's called cyclo. Let's see how you pronounce this. I'm gonna butcher that word. Oh, I got a O. Come on, man. I want you to.
Cyclospora.
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 All right, so that's what's going on now, and it's been found in the produce, man. All right, so switching over, at the end of the day, everything is going to be, it's all tainted, it's all dirty, it's all defiled. As I said, we would eat our bread defiled among the heathen. You know, yep. Cyclospora outbreak, Taco Bell cases linked to 4 more states. Yeah, it was lettuce. Let me see. Don't mind my spelling. Fresh parsley, along with cilantro and lettuce, has been identified by health officials as a reoccurring source of surging cyclospora parasite infections. So there we go. It's going after the greens now. All right, and whether it's them up to something or not, it ultimately it's YAHAWASHI. He's bringing plagues on this place. All right, famines is going to occur. It has to. It's written. All right. Let me get a couple of these responses from people leaving comments. It says, I don't have a problem with any company protecting its merchandise from thieves, but it seems like people have more sympathy for thieves when this stuff is constantly stolen and drives prices up. It's not locked up. It's tagged for shoplifting because it happens more now with prices that are the way that they are. And that's the thing, the fact that prices are constantly increasing. If prices are going up, well, if people are stealing because prices is going up and the economy is not getting better and hyperinflation is soon to hit, then what do you think is going to happen when everything is going up? You know, I can understand why meat is going up. All right. Well, meat has always been higher than the rest of the food on your table. Okay. But as you can see, Americans is heavy within the meat diet. I was sitting here thinking, certain people that I know, I'm like, I don't think they go a meal without eating meat. Because you can just have like a simple salad and a decent salad fill you up, man, with no meat. All right, since of beef, pork, chicken, things of that nature. All right, you can have fish, a little salmon with a side salad, it won't hurt. All right, but people prone to meat. That's why uh, McDonald's sell as many burgers as they do, however they do, wherever they getting all that meat from. All right, but they sell a whole lot of burgers on a daily, and then you got to think weekly, and then monthly, then annually. Where is all that meat coming from? All right. It says also this clip is similar to one that went viral last year of a Walmart shopper depicting the store's butcher aisles with meat inside cages. So Apparently, it happened once before. All right, so um, when it was speaking on the stealing part, of course, it brought me to Proverbs, the 30th chapter, going down to the uh, fifth verse, Salakia, seventh verse. It says, "Two things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee and say, Who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of the Most High in vain." Right? So we don't want to get to that point where uh, we feel as the things that the Lord are providing for us are more filling than His presence, than His care, His love, His protection, so to speak. All right, we really got to consider our daily bread on a daily. Now of course we have things in the refrigerator, things in the freezer, possibly things in the deep freezer and all of that, but just depending on it, you know, because we know we're going to come in a time where there will be rationings, there will be a famine, foods will become scarce. All right, and it doesn't mean that all of the cows and chickens are dying off. That's a possibility because the Lord, as I'm going to get in Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, He said He's going to bring back those plagues as before. You know, um, well, I'm gonna finish this one. All right, but even to the point where you ain't got much to where you got to steal. All right, so just give me enough. Give me food convenient for me, which ultimately is this knowledge, this wisdom, and this understanding. And it causes you to not be gluttonous upon meats, upon drinks. That's part of indulging in this lifestyle. Right? It said like they were eating, drinking, and giving into marriage. All right, that's a part of this lifestyle. Just pretty much being at free at will, doing what you want, not really moderating and regulating anything. You're just going. You eat a fucking hamburger, then you go to somebody's house and they cooking, then you eat a fucking hot dog or something or a steak, and you full, but like they say, you don't let your eyes be bigger than your stomach. All right. Also wanted to get this Sirach 37 and starting at 27. It says, "My son, prove thy soul in thy life and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. For all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything." There you have certain people, and this can go, it's twofold. It can go towards actual food as well as hobbies or vices or you know righteousness to wickedness. You know what I'm saying? You have people who are indulging in wickedness as well, but that of course is not profitable for a man of the Lord. All right, neither will a man of the Lord have pleasure in those things. Okay, so you have to prove your soul and see what is evil for it. All right, going into vices as well as food. Certain foods your body might not agree with. Yeah, other people might be able to eat it, or drink it. Even alcohol affects bodies different. Certain meats affects bodies different. And then you got different ailments, illnesses, sicknesses, diseases, diagnosis, so on and so forth, that causes certain people to eat a certain way. All right, like dealing with autoimmune, there's certain things you're supposed to be cutting out, okay, because it triggers inflammation a little bit higher than it could in others. You know, I was diagnosed with that in certain foods. It causes like an inflammation and a sharp pain in my chest, and that's how I know what not to mess with. As it said, see what is evil for it and give not that unto it. All right, be not insatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. Yeah, you don't really want to overindulge in anything. You want to moderate everything. All right. It says for excess meat bring it sickness, and suffering will turn into choler or choler. By suffering have many perished, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his life. And that's it. You eating a little bit better because like I said, when you're overindulging in that, you're causing your body to constantly work and work and work and work, meaning your organs is constantly working. Meaning eventually they'll break down faster. That's it's the same as with cars with miles on them. You know, nobody wants to go and spend $10,000 on a car that has 300,000 miles. You ain't gonna get much out of it because that engine being worked over a span of years. All right, or even if it just, yeah, I doubt it if somebody can get 300,000 in a year, but for the most part, it's being used, man, used and abused, and you can do that to your body by putting certain foods in it, by putting too much food in it. You know, that's why you have like intermittent fasting. All right, where you eat throughout the day for a certain amount of hours, and then you let your body, you know, rest throughout the rest of the day. Drinking water, all right, teas, and even coffee. Things with no calories for the most part enter into that I believe it's autophagy. All right, let me see. What is it? It says autophagy is your body's natural cellular recycling process that breaks down damaged parts, clears out waste, and repairs cells. Yeah, so it's like cleaning up your body. Look, it's doing it again. All right, so your body can enter this state after a certain period of not eating, and it'll help your body regenerate in a sense. All right, get rid of waste, all of the toxins are sitting. You constantly eating, your body don't got time. It's just like you constantly fucking working. You don't got time to sleep. So your body is the same way, man. All right. Let me get this last bit because these are really the times that we in. Whether they locking up meat or trucks not going to bring in meat or the Lord sending natural disasters for far as tornadoes, hurricanes, heat waves. There's a lot of heat waves going on throughout the world. So that's another lesson I wanted to do. You got a bunch of fires going on. It's throughout the world, man. All right, the Lord is he's slightly showing his power. Some people probably still think, I'm pretty sure people still think that it's Mother Nature, but it's the Heavenly Father causing these things. All right. So this right here is particularly dealing with America. This is Second Ezra, the 15th chapter and the 12th verse. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague of punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. There you go. Everybody, oh God, He's so good. God is good. God is great. And you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And all His works are exceedingly great. All right, and good. Right, down from His blessings down to His judgments, from His mercies down to His judgments and His anger that He brings out. It says, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Because they relied heavily on agriculture. All right, same as some farmers do nowadays. It's just now they have manufacturers that process certain foods, bring in a bunch of shit and make a product out of it and sell it wrapped up, packaged up, you know, and everybody ain't gotta go out and hunt. Everybody ain't gotta go out and till the land and pray for rain, pray for an increase, you know. And that's why a lot of people tend to be the way that they are, and they're going to the creator, Salaki, to the creature more than the creator, because Esau is producing all this processed food, so they just like, I can just go to the store whenever. All right. Well, the Lord is about to put an end to all of that shit. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Okay, many things can cause that. This could be one of them. All right, because you telling me so they start locking up meat over time in the stores. What do you think gonna happen to houses? Well, don't worry, we're gonna get to that point. Well, matter of fact, I'm gonna jump down to it and then I'm gonna come back up. Verse 19, it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right? And we know that that great tribulation pursuing to Matthew 24 is like a time like never before. It is going to get bad out here. All right. And it's really going to hit a lot of people because a lot of people are comfortable. They're fearless when it comes to the Heavenly Father. All right. They think themselves to control their own destiny, or they're their own God, or it's all type of ideologies out here. Okay. But the Lord never cared about none of that shit. All right, in the sense of competing with it. He's just going to do what he's going to do, what he said he's going to do. Okay. And whoever is meant to fall in line, i.e., the elect, is going to fall in line. And whoever is not, and they're going to be judged and be destroyed. All right. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And we definitely see the racial tension constantly growing in this place. It's always been there, but now people are more open about it because they tired. They paychecks is short. It's less food in their fridge, which means it's less food on their table. All right. The school system is blown to shit. They're starting to realize that their government and their leaders is not who they thought they were and who they said they were. So they butthurt. This constitution that they believed in so much and felt like they had the power and gave them power and had rights is starting to decay. So people tired. They on edge, man. That's why you see all these crash out videos. You know? It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. And that very well could happen. They start rationing out foods. All right? It will happen. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and of course their actions shall stand in their power. All these weird ass legislations that they're passing and trying to control. You know, they getting rid of people at jobs and replacing them with AI. It's like, damn. Well, how am I gonna eat? Oh, don't worry. We got a universal basic income for your ass. Go sit at home. You was calling in all the time anyway, Jimmy. Go sit your ass at home. We'll send you a. What about over? Ain't no overtime. You know, overtime time is over. Hey, yeah, man. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? Eventually they're gonna be blocking shit off. You ain't gonna just be able to go. Oh, I don't want to live here. Let me go into this city or that city. You know, once they start to really regulate their new world order. Oh yeah, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna see it and you're gonna feel it and you're gonna smell it. All right. Hey, but we gotta trust in YAHAWASHI, man. A time like never before. And we go through those moments now when our check is short or we ain't got enough to make ends meet, so to speak. But we trust in YAHAWASHI. All right. If the Lord, this is me and my faith, my level of faith through the spirit of YAHAWASHI. If the Lord can have some lions not eat for a day or two and they still don't be hungry when a man is thrown in the den with them, then he could do the same with us. He can just put the spirit on us for us not to be hungry. But you got to believe in that type of stuff. You got to have faith in YAHAWASHI that he able to do, that he will do that. Not how he's able, is of course he's able, but that he will do that. Because we're all going to be tested, man. People ain't 8 in 3 or 4 days and they bring out that MOTB. People gonna fold. People gonna fold. It says verse 18, for because of their pride And Salakia, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's the times that we're coming into. All right, with everything that's going on, we're coming into those times where people are going to become lawless. And it's the perfect recipe for them to bring in martial law, for them to lock cities down and bring in fuck, what is that? Why can't I think of it? Uh Dang, I can't think of the word. No, I can't think of the word right now. But it's similar to like martial law or something. Emergency. I cannot think of the word. But pretty much justify them, doing what they want to do. All right. Justifying their regulations and justifying their legislations and the laws that they've implemented and written out, you know. It'll bring all of that justification for the more to where you got the place being chaotic, and then they'll bring order. All right. Lock this bitch down. They did it. 2020, you forgot? Boom, pandemic. Boom, lock it down. Boom, sit your ass in the house. All right. You got to work. Well, prove that you got to work. Curfews. And that was just slight. That was something slight. All right. They're getting closer and closer to their plan because they know they got a short time. So, yeah. Lord willing, that was edified. Lord willing, we allowed to endure to the end, you know. Like I said, I'm not advocating anybody to change their diet. Just shit, moderate it. Be smart about it. But with that, once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Shalom.